The Buschy and Bobo Show, a healthy scratch podcast. Here's your hosts, Kyle Busch and Brian Rager.
Everyone, welcome back to the Buschy and Bobo Show on healthyscratch.ca. Episode 21 means that our podcast can now drink in the United States. So I'm going to raise a claw. I've been addicted to these things lately. What do you got there? Oh, nice. Yeah, there's nothing in that, is there?
No.
Are we going to pretend that there is?
No, I wasn't going to pretend it, but no alcoholic beverages for me today. Just a little Gato sauce.
Little Gato. Got to get hydrated. So a lot happened in the hockey world since we last spoke, which was a couple weeks ago. Most notably with some of our tems. I wouldn't say my team, your team for sure. We'll get to the Canucks. I think more towards the end of the pod. We're gonna start with Lou and Pete's team, the Montreal Canadiens. Push came to shove. Let's just say that, and Marc Bergevin got let go. And was it something where, like I said in the last pod, I feel like I saw this coming. I don't want to say implosion, but they've been really bad this year.
They're not a team that you would have thought if you would ask, did they go to the Stanley Cup final? God, no.
No, and here's the thing. Like, Price hasn't played all year. That makes a difference. Your captain's probably done forever. But he was your number one guy. That's hard to replace. And when you got your young guy like Caulfield, you send him down to get him out of this mess, right? There are a lot of things that went wrong with Montreal this season. And even now, it feels like a ship that doesn't have a captain. It's kind of rudderless. Who knows where they're going with this? You were talking about a rumor of who they're maybe looking at for the GM, which it's like, of course they're looking at this guy.
Yeah, of course. Like, the rumor that I've seen going around is Patrick Waugh.
Right.
The guy who said, was it 96 there or 95? Oh, I'm never going to play for this team again. Goes on to Colorado.
He's never going to play for them again.
Yeah. But he sort of made amends, like when he had
the commercial with, who was the guy? Yannick? No. What was the guy? Tremblay? Oh, Mario Tremblay was the coach. He has a commercial with him playing Bubble Top. And it's Patrick Waugh is just smoking him, and he says like to pull his goalie, and he's like, "No, I'll leave him in." It's so funny.
It's not like what the fuck, like Waugh. See, he has like front office. So like, didn't he do some front office stuff for the Quebec Remparts there too?
He wasn't he the GM and coach?
Yeah, and he was the coach.
He coached Colorado, right?
Yeah,
the Avalanche. I think it's just
it's a French name. It's a French name.
It's like Yzerman, Detroit, Sakic, Colorado, Patrick Waugh, Montreal, right? So now, one thing before we get into Marc Bergevin specifically and maybe what the Habs have to do, I want to address like this rule that they have, and like it's not a rule, but it's an unofficial
rule. It's an unofficial Montreal rule, and it's absolutely stupid.
Right. We have to have a French-speaking general manager. Okay, so the reasons for it is, you're in a French province, but it's a bilingual thing, right? So, in my opinion, hockey-wise, why are you not just getting the best guy for the job?
That'd make too much sense.
Right. So we have to basically take, if this is our sample size of all the GMs in the league, and we're gonna just say these guys only. You might have the guy over here. Okay, he doesn't speak French. Okay, Jeff Gorton, that got hired as like, what would they call him, like the VP or something? Like, he doesn't speak French. He tried to. I'll give him props to do that in the press conference. But
this is what you do, la.
But it's one of those things where I feel like hiring him, I don't know who you would get to work under him, because the thing is, if you hire Patrick Waugh, he's not taking direction from Jeff Gorton. I think if you hire Patrick Waugh, it's like, this is your ship, dude. You're doing whatever you want.
Exactly. You're bringing, especially like, it's a name, it's a personality. You look he's going to be the guy that's going to be there long term. I don't know, like if they sign him, it would be something that they'd try to get him on a long-term deal or whatnot. But it's, if it's a French GM, well, when it's a French GM, they want to have that term in there too, right? It's not like it's okay, we're going to bring in, for example, like Steve Yzerman. No. He's only a short-term fix for us because he doesn't speak the French. But
right, but it's also someone that's proven. Steve Yzerman proved himself in Tampa, came back home. It would be like if Patrick Waugh went to like Arizona and then like had a lot of success or like, reinvigorated the franchise and then had an opportunity to go home to Montreal. It'd be like, hey, GM of the year. And so it's different. It feels to me, and this goes for coaches too, and general managers. It's like this old boys club, you keep seeing
we've said that so many times,
and we're going to talk about the Canucks with Rutherford, and it's like this guy's 78 years old or something, isn't he? Like, isn't he in his 70s? We can't find anyone else to do these jobs.
Jimmy's up there in age. Like I said, we'll get into it a bit later with him. Like there's a few things that I want to say about that whole thing.
But that's someone.
He's 72 years old. Like
someone's getting hired by the Canadians that has been a GM before, right? So it's totally.
He looks a lot older than 72.
I know, but that's just what I mean is they're going to hire somebody that's known. What I really think they should do is like you have Jeff Gorton in there, like get somebody that maybe isn't super well known, but they are a good hockey mind. Like there has to be someone else, like AHL or like somebody. There's got to be somebody you can bring in that's going to do a good job and learn from the guy, right? They already have said, and this is talk, that Ducharme's going to be there for the rest of the year. Now, of course, they're going to say that.
Yeah.
They're not going to say, we're going to gas him like halfway through. No, you can't. Doesn't mean they can't get rid of him, but Montreal is in a little bit of a pickle. But do you want to talk about Bergevin and some of his moves, good and bad?
Bergevin,
what has led to this?
Yeah, and it's funny because you mentioned Bergevin, and he's one of the guys that was rumored to be the next GM of Vancouver.
It was like, seriously, like we're just gonna keep recycling the same guys.
Exactly. It's that the boys club, but it's weird. You look at his time in Montreal, and he's had the good and the bad. Probably a couple of his best better moves. I say the number one that I could think of is the Shea Weber for PK Subban. You look at look what's happened since then. When that first happened, people were like, oh man, you're giving PK up for a vet and Shea Weber, blah, blah, blah.
And the contract.
Like, you look at PK has not been the same since he's left. Well, maybe his first year in Nashville, he was all right.
Just slew footing people all over the place.
But he's not what Shea Weber's been. Shea Weber's been the rock on that Montreal blue line. Consistent. Like, he's playing Shea Weber hockey. He's never changed up his game. He wore the C, or he wore the C, and
big reason they went to the final.
Yeah, absolutely. That's his best trade that I think of. And then I know a couple other we were saying is the.
So I was gonna say I texted Lou, and I had a list, and his list is almost identical. So do you want me to run through what Lou was saying? I asked him to come on the pod. He was too scared. So now he did say he's like. I'll say exactly what he said. I'm quoting him, okay? He also won the PK trade, and I don't give a fuck what anyone says. By a landslide, PK has done nothing but go downhill fast.
It's true.
Okay, so these are the ones, and I'll go through and I'll say what John said, and I'll ask you what you think. So Jeff Petrie trade. So Lou says, he got a lock top 2D man for a second, 4th round pick, was able to sign him twice at bargain deals. This year obviously has no bearing on anything because it's not real. So obviously a good trade because Jeff Petrie has been solid, like just always been back there for the Canadians.
Absolutely. Like,
is he number one guy though? He's great with like Shea Weber as your 1, Petrie as your 2. That'd be nice.
Yeah, but he's had to take on that step up this year, right? It's taking on that role, but with Weber out, but at the time, perfect trade.
Right. What about trading for Philip Deneau? So it was Deneau in a second, which turned out to be Romanov, for Thomas Fleischmann and Dale Weiss. So, and he says, even though he walked, you got elite defensive center play for like 6 years, plus a promising young D for like 2 fourth-liners. Really good trade. And I mean, that's obviously good drafting. Yeah, good drafting for getting Romanov too. And yeah, Deno walked. I think maybe underrated for a time in Montreal defensively, and yeah, they key cog on that second to third center pair, and just went to LA, right? So they never really replaced him. I mean, when they lost Kotkaniemi and brought in Dvorak, they thought maybe he'll be the guy analytically, but hasn't at all.
No.
Pacioretty getting traded for Nick Suzuki and Thomas Tatar. So he says Tuna was stellar for a handful of years, and obviously Suzuki is looking to be a top 2 center for a while. I agree with that. He's going to be a top line, or like with Suzuki, because he's so young, he's still in that stage of, yeah, he looks, like you said, he looks top 6. And this is why I like what Lou's actually, he went through and wasn't a homer about this. Top 2 center. I agree with that. If he would have said he's a top line guy no matter what, well, I mean, you can argue that. Top 2, 100%. I love Nick Suzuki and how he plays. And yeah, obviously Tatar, he played well for the Habs.
Well, yeah.
So that's a good trade as well. And Pacioretty wanted out, and they got something for him. Let's see. Now, he didn't have any of these good ones, but I wrote down signing Tyler Toffoli, 4 years, 17 mil. That was a really good one. Yeah, and then another one actually that Lou did say, he said it at the end, I think. He also deserves a shout out for the Paul Byron pickup off waivers. The team's record without him in the lineup is earth-shattering. He's been a rock and scored some big goals. Listen to this. Their win percentage with him in the lineup is like 75%, and without him, it's like 38%. That math makes no sense, Johnny.
That's
but got him off waivers.
Yeah,
got him off waivers. That's a good pickup too.
So there's hit and misses, right? There's hit and misses for any GM.
Right. Want to talk about misses?
Go ahead.
What kind of misses do you think? Right off the top of your head, which ones do you think of? Do you have any off the top of your head, or do you want me to?
Well, because I remember when I asked you, do you want to do a pod, and you're saying, then you mentioned this. Like I wanted to try to Google some stuff, but with work right now, I'm sort of doing something else. I wasn't able to necessarily do this. But that's why
I got you, buddy.
That's why we got you, and that's why we got Lou.
Okay. Let's start with Lou. Okay, we'll see what he says. Worst moves. My favorite part. Slam dunk Drouin for Sergachev. Forced trade to try to be a French hero, and Yzerman fleeced him. That's exactly what happened. Because think about if they had Sergachev right now with Petrie and Weber, right? And Romanov. There's your top 4, right? That would be kind of nice. Now I know Weber got hurt. But
now you look at Sergachev down there in Tampa, like he's playing with Edmund and whatnot. They had
and he's probably their second best D-man, honestly. And they got McDonough, they got Chernak, they're set.
And then even last year they had Savard there too for after the deadline. So
right. He says Alzner signing speaks for itself. Nice try, just missed the shot. I mean, that's like an air ball. If I'm 5 years, 23 million, and then after one season, waivers into the minors. That's a bad signing. And he came from Washington, and like it was weird because I think he had some points in Washington, but like it was one of those like there's no way this guy can do this anywhere else, right?
Yeah,
because Washington was scoring goals like fucking crazy back then, right? Next one, he says, and this isn't on my list. This is how John feels. David Savard signing. It's the same. He's living it right now. He says. I don't know if it's the same as Carl Alzner. I think David Savard is a really good second pair D-man, but again, it's just the makeup of the team that he's with right now. Like he was so comfortable in Columbus. He fit in perfectly with Tampa Bay because you're on the Lightning. You win the Stanley Cup. So now there's nowhere to hide. And there's no one to play with either. So you're going to look bad as well. So I think with the Savard thing, I would say to John, like, give it time. Cause I like David Savard.
Yeah.
When he signed with them, I was like, oh, that's a good deal.
Great Red Wing.
Right. And the last thing that Lou says is, but his worst move overall was drafting and developing, mainly missing and mishandling and not developing second, third overall picks. And Galchenyuk and Kotkaniemi is just inexcusable. It's 2 shots at organization changing events. Totally agree with him. So Lou, honestly, I'm in lockstep with everything that he just said because that's a few things on here. Galchenyuk, third overall. It was his first draft for Bergevin. And Kotkaniemi over Tkachuk and Hughes. I mean, Logan Mailloux draft. He even said letting Radulov walk was a big one. And going back just organizationally, like this is before Bergevin, but they haven't hit on a first round pick in a while. It's been a second since they've picked somebody and developed them into an actual like NHLer. That's a top six.
It's
or
cool
top 40.
For me. It's cool to hear. Or it's interesting to hear where Lou's coming from on hits and misses there. Like, and he's looking at it as not just a fan, but like he's looking as like a hockey guy too.
It's hard to look at it as a fan too, and I know because
it's like, where's your heart and
he loves the Habs more than I love the Red Wings and more than you love the Canucks.
Yeah,
it's how it is.
But the fact that he was able to separate it though for this was it's interesting.
It's sometimes a painful exercise to go, oh my God, what did we do here? So, what's the way forward for these guys then, right? Obviously, you got to find your GM. I think it was time to move on from Bergevin. I think it was a flawed team this year. It's one of those things where even talking with John last year and maybe looking back now, he can see it. But even when they went to the final, it was a magical run. He was saying he's playing with house money. You obviously want him to win it, but Tampa was just too good.
Yeah.
But it was a flawed team throughout. I mean, they caught fire. They played really well. Carey Price was outstanding.
Playoff, yeah.
But he was bad in the regular season.
Thank God they had Jake Allen.
Yeah, Jake Allen was their rock for a while. Now this year he's not. So they're looking like they're going to be a top 5 pick. Maybe you get lucky. Shane Wright is at the top there. Brad Lambert. Maybe you get lucky and you get someone that helps turn this thing around
and help develop someone that could go in with that core there, that new young core, right? With Caulfield and Suzuki and
and you have some young players.
It is rebuild time in Montreal,
right? And you're going to be soon. Carey Price. You're going to have to find someone, right? Is it Jake Allen? Like, I don't think so. Is it
no,
Sam
he's not.
Montembeault?
He can't be your long. They can't be a long-term guys.
Yeah. So they got to figure this out. And that's why they need a GM that's going to, you need to give him a long leash. If I'm a Montreal fan, it's almost like in with Yzerman when he came in saying like, this is going to take a second. I think Montreal is in a better, I don't know.
You know what? The thing
they might not be in a better spot than Detroit was when Yzerman came in.
You're saying there though, like, when Yzerman came into Detroit, he didn't bullshit it. He didn't say, okay, we're going to become like, he was a straight shooter. It's going to take some time. We do have some good young talent and we have some prospects, but it's going to take a little bit.
But why he was afforded to do that is because he's Steve Yzerman and it's Detroit. He's going to get so much longer than a regular GM. But especially with Montreal, in that hockey hotbed, you think they're going to be okay with losing and rebuilding for 3 years? Not a chance. Are you kidding me? So that forces a GM into making stupid decisions, dumb trades, aggressive
the emergency
signings.
cord. Get the emergency cord
and again, this is a segue eventually into Jim Benning and what happened with him in Vancouver, feeling the hot seat and going, I have to do something where it might not mean organizational stability.
It doesn't mean it's the right move. It's
stability for you or an aggressive shot and hope this works out. So
it's the blindfold, throwing the dart, 3 darts at once, hoping for something to hit.
Yeah. Did you see Trevor Zegras throw a dart over top of the net? Did you see that goal?
No.
Okay. I want you right now to react. This is Bobo Reacts. Type in Trevor Zegras.
Hold on, Brett. Got to ring up the YouTubes for.
I think it was Sonny Milano. Yeah. Just type in Trevor Zegras. Lacrosse.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I did see that. That was, I did see that goal. Once the highlights started, like the little thumbnails on YouTube came up.
Speaking of Lou, he hates Trevor Zegras. Now we're talking about Randy's team. We need to talk about them maybe next pod because they're in first place right now in the Pacific. Are you shitting me? They're fun, man. with Zegras and Drysdale and Milano, and Troy Terry has almost like 20 goals or something.
Yeah, what the hell's up with that?
Holy shit! I mean, they look pretty damn good. So hey, we'll talk about the Ducks. Maybe we'll get Randall on here to talk about them because he's watched probably every game.
That is like that. Like I was watching the goal again, and
all right, I'm gonna give you one guess about what John Tortorella said about this goal.
Oh, it should probably Bush League. It's amateur hour.
Yeah,
something like that. No,
basically that back in 2000, you would have got your bell rung. No one would have done this and that. I don't think it has a partner game. Now,
guys are a lot more skilled now. Tortorella, you fucking idiot. Like,
right. But okay, we said this about Torts a couple episodes ago. Right now, he's not a coach. He's an entertainer. And guess what? And I said it this last time. It gets idiots like me and you talking about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So job well done by Torts, right? That's exactly his job, is to stir the pot. He might not actually think this, but now everybody is up in arms about, wow, he's just a dinosaur, this and that. And I didn't give you the full context of what he said. And not a lot of people have the patience to listen to the whole thing. But he was just saying,
Buschy? Can you get that?
Yeah. You ever fought anybody? I guess that's what I'm saying, Brooksy. Dude, it's so funny.
Get out of here, then.
Then get out of here. Yeah. Good. Okay, so everybody is just outraged that he would say this, because it's just all he was doing was comparing 20 years ago to now, and how he's conflicted. Yeah, well, you can.
Well,
he's conflicted, and guess what? It is a different game, right? And I think he did mention that it's different now. But he did say something about he would probably have to have a talk with that player. It's like, I don't know if I would do that. I'd say back in the day, yeah, you would probably get your ass kicked for trying something hot dog like that. But it's a league of skill. You see kids trying it in like practices and stuff now. I think it's something where like he was just kind of saying like back in the day, the game was different. That would never happen in 2000. So people just went, well, it's 2021. He's like, yeah, he's saying that wouldn't have happened back then. And that's why it never happened, because you would have got killed.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a lot more skill based now, a lot quicker. And guys are able to pull off new things in games now.
And another thing that, comparing back then to now, like where I go, you would have got smoked if you tried that, that move. Someone would have come and punched your face in. Why is every freaking hit now? There's a fight. Every hit. Jacob Trouba on the New York Rangers twice, and actually 3 times. He had another hit last night. All of a sudden, this guy is Scott Stevens.
That's the second one I thought you were talking about, was the one last night.
Well, that one was they're all 3 of them were clean. Okay. Yeah. Some people are going, there's no room in this in the game and this and that. These people now, okay, I might sound like a dinosaur, but listen, it's a professional sport that is high velocity, and they're professionals. They have been doing this their whole life. Okay. You make a hit to separate the man from the puck. And if you can hit him hard, you hit him hard. That's how you're taught. When everyone's saying the focal point of these hits is the head, no, it is not. Of course, your head's going to go forward when you get smoked in the chest. Okay. And yeah, you're probably going to hit their shoulder. You don't really want to see anyone hurt.
No.
But at the same time, the Trouba hit, 2 or 3 of them. Ryan Lomberg on the Florida Panthers absolutely annihilated this kid. I don't even know who he was playing for. Was it the Kings or I don't know?
It was against the Avalanche. I have it up right now. Let's see if I could do this.
He got
no. I don't have screen share ability.
Well, no, it's fine. We don't need to watch it because we're gonna get taken off anyway.
Yeah.
So the kid is in his own end. McDonald, right?
Yeah, Jacob McDonald on Colorado.
He's turning in the corner. He has the puck. He's turning the corner. And if you watch the video, you can see him peek towards where Lomberg is. You see him kind of take a peek, and then he puts his head back down, and bam,
and boom,
bawango, like Don Cherry would say. Trolley tracks, shoulder right to the chest, stretchered. You're dead, right? The kid got stretchered off. You hope he's okay. But there's a fight immediately.
And then, right away.
It's like, holy shit, guys, what are we doing here? And it's almost like the guy that's going after him is kind of like, well, I just have to. It's like an obligation. Like I remember playing.
It wasn't even a fight. It's like I have it up now. They're trying to throw a few punches, but they're all tangled up, and it's more of just a hug.
Right.
A grapple to the ground.
I remember some of my teammates getting laid out and going, holy crap. Here's the thing. This is just how I sum it up. Keep your fucking head up. How about that? I have got my bell rung more often than I ever wanted to when I played hockey because I had my head down. I wasn't aware of my surroundings. I wasn't aware of that defenseman's pinching in. He's going to smoke me, right? It happens, and you have to learn from that. And again, you can get hurt, and those are the risks of playing in the league. There's no way you're going to get rid of these hits, right? This is textbook body check. I don't know what you want these guys to do. Do you want them to just play two-hand touch? Because it's not going to happen.
Like I've watched it just a couple times here. It's a clean hit. Like I said, it's just the guys coming in to fight for no reason. But I do want to give a shout out to the ref on that play because the ref is right in the way there, and he just backs out last second.
Like, go ahead.
Before otherwise he's getting knocked the fuck out.
Right. And I think in one of the, it might have been one of the Trouba fights. I think someone got an instigator penalty. So like New York had a power play, and that's probably what needs to happen in those situations. If there's a hit and it's clean and someone comes in and fights you, you're getting a 2-minute make it so that it stops. Give them a match penalty. If you go in and instigate a fight with someone that just hit your guy and it's clean and there's no penalty.
I just watched the one Trouba hit on Kyra there on Chicago.
Oh, and he got McKinnon too.
Yeah, I'm watching the Kyra one.
Kyra, oh my god,
his head's down and he's just
have your head up, man. Yeah, but the McKinnon
and then he
one wasn't as bad.
Trouba gets pulled from the almost horse collared to turn around and
right
and go there.
I think it's a little and that's the thing. It's like a little stupid where it's like, why do we have to fight again? Like, yeah, you have to stick up for your teammates, but
McKinnon head down.
I'm watching all head down, man. It's going to be a head down league, and that's where guys are going to get hurt. It's not the fighting, right?
Well, and of course,
you have to be aware.
Landeskog fought.
Landy, yeah, man. It's like, why is he got to do it, right? Like
one of your best players.
Have you ever heard of taking a number and getting them later?
Exactly.
Hello. Why don't you line Trouba up and give him a rough ride next time? Get him behind the net and blast him.
Why have one of your top guys out there and try and fight it when, like you said, call the number, get the grit line out there when you see him, and
yeah, exactly. And
I'm watching the one.
You got some tough guys
last night.
Isn't Reeves on the Rangers?
Yep.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is he's going to pound your face in too. But hey, if that's the way you want to play it, I feel like this whole let's hug it out shit. Hey, maybe, you know what? That's probably the best case scenario for Jacob Trouba is if someone drops the gloves with him, because then it's done. And I'm just going to rock you next time. If you don't fight him, he's going to be looking around the whole game like, who's after me now, right?
It's true.
Seriously.
It's
the psychology of it can get you. No segue for this at all. Okay, ready?
Psychology is something that I'm not even going to try to make a bad one.
So the Olympics are coming.
and there's a lot of doctors in psychology.
But yeah, good one. So I just found this kind of funny and I'm looking forward to how when you have the Olympics, you're like, oh, I have some guys on my favorite team that are going. I'm going to follow them. I'll watch them.
Yeah.
Same thing with World Juniors, right? And so the one thing that I found really interesting is Sweden. You always have to put in a short list of your international players that you're going to be selecting from for the Olympics. And I think this is probably incredibly rare. But so my boy, who's been crushing it with the Wings, Lucas Raymond, was left off of Sweden's list before the NHL season started. I don't think they knew how good he was going to be in the NHL and actually have a shot at making that team. He'd be on that team no matter what, right? Am I crazy? Be there, right?
He should be there.
He should be there. He should be on that.
He should be on the list. He should, yeah. If not, if he's not going to be on the team, at least on the list. Like the Swedes always put together a great team. So,
but he would be on it because they're asking for an exemption. So they want him on the team because they're asking the committee, like, "Hey, man, this guy should be on our team." But they're saying he might not be allowed to play because they didn't submit his name on the list, which is stupid. I don't know if that's ever happened before. And I don't know how you would look that up.
I don't think I've never heard anything about that not happening and going for an exemption or whatnot on it.
Think about that, eh?
This Olympics has been so fucky between that and I know often we talked about China. Do you know the IHF, IIHF had to go send representatives to a Chinese game to make sure they're going to be somewhat competitive? They have Norway on standby. They had Norway on They had Norway on standby. Just in
Norway,
case
who got annihilated 12-0 by Canada 10 years ago?
Yeah. So that's
2014. Yeah.
That was going to be the standby team. China, they have since said China is going to be playing in this division with Canada, the US, and Germany.
They're dead.
And even the Chinese team, which is Clune Red Stars in the KHL, they're still having players that might not be able to play on their team because they haven't played the 2-year
for visa
citizenship.
Right?
Yeah, for visa and permanent citizen.
Jake Chelios plays on that team. Brandon Yip.
Some of those guys are going to have to surrender their nationality citizenship and get temporary Chinese passports.
That's a lot to go.
I was really
annihilated 15-0 by Canada.
I get you get to play in the Olympics. You're not necessarily representing your when I think Chinese hockey, I don't think Jake Chelios.
No, you don't.
But
yeah, there are some guys that
Brendan Yip. I could see it because he has he is a dual.
Right. Think about Brett Hull.
Yeah,
played for USA, but he's Canadian.
Born in Belleville.
Right. So there are instances where it's technically Danny Heatley could have played for Germany. Yeah. He could have because he was born there. Owen Nolan, Belfast, Ireland. Right. So, but he played for Canada. So it just all goes on citizenship. Like Frodo, right? He plays for Ireland baseball, but he's Canadian, but he's also got Irish citizenship, right? So it depends. But with the international stuff, that comes with some interesting stuff with NHL 22, which I don't have. I'm not playing it.
I've heard nothing.
I got excited a little bit about this. They are bringing in the international jerseys, the legit actual ones where it's not just the generic Canada flag. They're bringing their actual
the Nike
it has
jersey.
The Trey Kroner 3 crowns, and
it has the German eagle. It has
Finnish has Suomi, and it's really cool. And I think that's interesting. But they're also bringing in the women's international teams with the actual players, and they're doing the World Junior teams as well for the men. So I wonder if you play season mode in the OHL, is there around Christmas? It's
a junior
team have gone, and then
you've been selected to.
Or is it just that maybe tournament mode? It's probably just tournament mode, right? Probably. Where you go in and just play. That's kind of neat. I think that's cool.
It's about time I see that happening for the women's hockey. It's been taken off so much in the last few years here. You look at it, having women more involved with the All-Star game. And
do you think it's just a matter of time? There's two things that I've been thinking, and especially for this video game, that's not even one that I thought that just should have been a thing no matter what.
Yeah.
But getting the women's team in there, that's cool. World Juniors, that's neat. The jerseys are great. The next ones that I kind of was thinking of, because I think they got the ECHL in there now.
Yeah.
Finally. And they'll never get the KHL.
No.
NCAA, which would be tough to do, but now you can.
To get with licensing and all that.
You could do that, and they could make some money.
Because they're going to be making a football game.
Right.
Bringing football back.
I'm just saying those players could be in the video game. You want to make Michigan, Owen Power, and because that's something where if you play a franchise mode and you go into the draft, Owen Power's not in the game because he's on Michigan and that they can't use him. So there's always some made up random guy. So you won't have all the players. So him, Kent Johnson, even Quinn Hughes when he was in Michigan too. So any NCAA player isn't in NHL, but a lot of the junior players are. So it'd be kind of neat to have those guys incorporated. And maybe what you do is you go with the big teams, right? You maybe make Michigan, MSU, Boston College, Boston U, North Dakota, Wisconsin,
Maine, Arizona State.
Yeah, Phoenix, right? They have one. Miami of Ohio. Any teams where you're wow, Bowling these Green, guys bring out a lot of NHL talent, And then maybe guys that are selected by NHL teams, you can put them in kind of like a NCAA like free agent like list.
I don't think you'll see that. You're not going to see that in NHL until they have at least 1 or 2 football games come back. You're not going to see it in NHL 22, 23. Right. So I think the earliest, if they were to see that, the earliest will be NHL 25.
It's all about money. So
exactly.
But I think that would be.
It would be cool.
Neat. What about what might come before that? If I'm really thinking of it, if they're putting the women's teams for international in there,
it's a women's career mode or having something like that.
Yeah, that, but like with is it the NWHL?
I can see that too because that's somewhat partnered with the NHL.
Yeah, because that'd be kind of neat. Because
it's
again, I don't know anything about. I don't know how many teams they have. It wouldn't be hard.
It's almost like how NBA in 2K they have the WNBA in there.
Yeah,
they have same thing. The like GM mode in WNBA. My career.
Really. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, you could do a whole GM. The Premier Hockey Federation, the
Buffalo
is
Buttes,
the new,
right?
I think how many teams they got here? They got current teams. Yeah, they got 6 teams in it right now.
Okay, what are the teams? Buffalo Buttes.
Buffalo Buttes.
Okay.
The Boston Pride.
Yeah.
The Connecticut Whale.
Is there a Toronto team?
The Toronto Six.
Yep.
Metropolitan Riverettes, who have a sweet logo.
Yeah.
And the Minnesota Whitecaps.
I haven't heard of those ones. I heard the other 5. I never heard of Minnesota.
Minnesota joined in 2018.
To put 6 teams in there, that'd be so easy. Nothing.
Yeah. Especially with
like the Slovakian teams and stuff, like that'd be really easy. I feel like if they could find a way to do that, do it. You know what I mean?
I think it's something that is going to happen way before anything with NCAA. I could see this happening like next year, the year after, depending how it all goes, like all partnership too. Because this is one, except women's hockey's gotten a lot bigger. You're seeing it more on the NHL level too. Oh, definitely. And this would be one thing you're going to see.
It's a win-win for the NHL.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't take necessarily much to add it in as a separate mode, but
yeah, that'd be cool. And sticking with like the international stuff, I just wanted to bring up so the Canada roster was just announced. We're not going to break that down. Like I know, like for me, for the Wings, they have Donovan Sabrango on defense, and Sebastian Cosa is going to play. He's probably starting. He's 6'7", like he's insane. So 2 Red Wings on Canada.
And guy from the Spits there.
Will
Johnson.
Cooley. Oh no, Will Cooley.
Will Cooley. There you go.
2 guys that I was like, man, that got left off the list of even going to camp is Barrie defenseman Brant Clark, and then it's Winnipeg.
Yeah, Winnipeg Ice.
Matthew Savoie. These guys, I was really shocked that they weren't invited to camp because Brian, you'd say the stats. Like,
well, yeah, I'm pretty sure Clark was there in the summer at the summer camp. So Brant Clark, he's a defenseman. He plays for the Barrie Colts in the OHL. He's 6'2", 185 pounds.
First rounder.
Right-handed, yeah. First round by LA this past year. He's the captain of Barrie in 20 games. He has 23 points, 5 and 18. He's as a defenseman,
and he's right-handed.
Yeah, right-handed shot.
You see how many right-handed shots they got on defense on Canada?
No, I didn't see that in
0.
Why wouldn't you?
They're
want
all
that,
lefties.
Then? Why wouldn't you want a right-handed shot? The guy can obviously.
That's Ken Holland's worst nightmare. For 2013, they had no right-handed defenseman. Now all they have is right-handed defensemen. And then, yes, Matthew Savoie in the WHL. He's leading the league.
Yeah, so even him leading the league, you look at the point leaders in the WHL. It's that top line there for Winnipeg. It's Matthew Savoie, Connor McLennan, and Mikey Milne. Savoie has 44 points.
That's insane.
44 in 27 games.
Yeah,
he's almost at 2 points a game. It's ridiculous.
The only thing that I can think of is the movie Miracle about the 1980s Olympic team in the States. Is there's a scene when they're during tryouts. It's like the first skate, and Herb Brooks is with the assistant coach there, Patrick, I think, and gives him the list of the team. Like, this is who the guys are. And the assistant coach says, well, you're missing some of the best players. And he goes, I'm not looking for the best players. I'm looking for the right ones. Maybe that's part of this. Maybe the way that it's built. And we said that when we were talking about the Olympics a few episodes ago, like the Canadian team, where I said, you're looking for these guys like maybe Couturier and Scheifele and like guys that could play, Ryan O'Reilly, play a little bit more defensively on those bottom six, where they have their top six. Maybe Matthew Savoie is not really a good defensive guy that we wouldn't really be effective on the fourth line. In my opinion, why aren't you just running out the 12 best players you have? But we've seen all-star teams fail, right? So maybe that's why. I with the Brandt Clark thing really surprised me.
That is very surprising. It's but wasn't they have one guy on this team, isn't he 17? They can only have so many 17 years old because Savoie was also 17, so he would.
Connor Bedard's 16.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. That's the exception.
Plays for Regina. He's unbelievable.
That's
where the first overall in a few years.
So it's like 17. Do you need it's 16. You need that exception or whatever exemption.
Yeah, he's the only one. Connor Bedard is the sixth, I think. It's Gretzky, Lindros, Bouwmeester, Spezza, McDavid, Crosby, and now he's the seventh. So that's some pretty good company to keep.
Definitely some. I
didn't realize Bouwmeester was underage for that. That's kind of cool. But I remember because they're the only ones who are in a cage for some reason.
Yeah. Or even Bouwmeester's time probably wearing the bubble.
He probably was. So now meat and potatoes of this episode is going to be basically your Canucks. And I'm gonna kind of give you the floor because I'm sure you have some ups and downs with what's going on with the team.
A whirlwind of emotions.
Okay. So you want me to set you up here?
Sure.
So Jim Benning, their GM, canned. See you later. Travis Green, he gone. So coach, GM, gassed. They brought in two relics, Jim Rutherford and Bruce Boudreau. So GM and coach. How are you feeling about just Benning and Green first, and then we'll get into the new guys? How do you feel about what happened here?
Benning, when it first hired, I thought I was going to do a video on this too, and I had it all. I shouldn't say I had it all planned out. I had somewhat rough points on there. When he first came to the team in 2014, I believe it was. Little excited, I was excited. He won the cup with Boston as an assistant in 2011, and seemed to have been helped make the right moves, but obviously no success. And I think the last 2-3 years, I've just gotten so sick of him. The guy didn't want to necessarily commit to a rebuild when things were going wrong. Like, he'll draft these young guys like Besser, Pedersen, Hughes, and I know we're going to go into that later on, but he never just threw him in and just tried to patch job things up. Louis Eriksson, which how he traded him after that. That's if we go into best moves, probably my favorite thing is Jim Benning trading Louis Eriksson. But just in his press conferences are so boring. Like, he just looks so like he didn't want to be there.
I get it, man. I lived with Ken Holland for a long time.
Yeah. And then Travis Green, I had some, had some success in Utica. I think he's in the 4 years there, 2 or 3 playoff runs. Lost in the finals, I believe, once. But guy that was able to help develop some of these younger guys that were transitioning up into Vancouver, or guys that would have been young and drafted and slotted in. No success there, and it's every press conference, especially this year that I've seen. We're just not getting the bounces. Like, he's not holding his players accountable, and he didn't hold himself accountable. So
what I'm going to ask is, with a GM like that, and I think I know your answer, but as a fan, you know, are you really getting any answers from that guy?
No.
And how does it make you feel, right?
And it's frustrating. You're not getting any answers at all. What direction are we going in? You're bringing in some of these guys like veterans or whatnot to help. We're going to make a playoff. We're going to make a playoff run, which is what I thought we were going to do this year. But nothing's happened.
You did say that. Where I was like, oh yeah, I could maybe see it, right?
Like we said, the top 6 players on the top 6 forwards is that depth that we haven't had the success with, or the right combinations. Players now seem to be we're on a 4-game win streak with Barbecue Bruce. So
okay, my question now. Well, how about Green?
What about Green? He
gone. I thought he was gonna be the guy. And all of a sudden, did he? Okay, so now I know you just said, but did he lose the room?
I think so.
Was it tactical? Was it both? Was it a motivation thing?
I think it's there's so much losing that you just lose the room, and he can try. Like he never looked like he was a guy to try to motivate someone. I'd say again, I don't know what happens behind the scenes in Vancouver. I'm assuming he's trying to, but if you're trying to motivate, and you're still not getting the results, you're going to lose the room. It's gonna is it a mixture of the tactics? Probably, but
could be.
I thought he was going to be a guy that would have had a lot of success with these younger players, but just didn't happen.
So the new guys. Let's start with Bruce Boudreau. Okay.
Well, so because he was hired on first.
He was, and which I said to you was odd. I thought that was interesting. I'm like, usually you get a GM, you let him get his guy, but I guess that's who they zeroed in on. And I was listening to him a lot on like NHL Network and stuff. You know,
he's on a 2-year deal.
Sirius XM. He was on NHL a lot. So, but yeah. So, at this time, he's won his first 4 games.
Bruce, there it is.
Coach. Bruce, there it is. He has some great soundbite, dude. The one that you sent me, where he gets up from his press conference, he goes, "Oh fuck." That's the best.
Well, there's that one.
So, how many sound bites does that guy have? Right?
He has one. Who was he talking to? Oh, it was at a press conference. Was it after last night or his third game? It was like, "Oh, I just wish the fans would just stop with that stupid song."
Yeah.
And then after the game, the Canucks players are coming in, like after the game, after they win, they're pounding
Bruce,
it.
There it is.
And then I forget who to say. He's like, "Hey, Bruce, there it is."
Yeah.
Like, oh, shut the fuck up. Honestly, he's been such a breath of fresh air, and a lot of Canucks comments I see like on their social medias from other fans. It's been nothing but good things and press conferences. Like he's not sugarcoating; he's straight to the point. Okay, well, yeah, we played like shit. Like the game against it was the Winnipeg win? No, that was last night. I forget what game it was. Vancouver wins in a shootout. They're up 1-0, but they play like shit. They're just like, we played like shit in the third period. We were giving up way too many penalties, way too many chances. But you know what? That's hockey. It's a gritty win. It's
like you're gonna take it.
Yeah, we're gonna have ugly wins. We're gonna have ugly losses. But you know what? It's there's a reason why it's 60 minutes and sometimes longer. It seems
the
like
contrast, right, of what you had and now, or what you have now and what you had then.
Yeah,
you're getting answers. It's different. It's new.
Yeah, and then the sound bites. They're just great. They're great. No, it seems like this is a guy like he's sort of knows. He knows what he's doing because he's a coach and he's done this for how many years. It seems like he has the locker room. He has the guys energized. They're on a bit of a streak right now. Besser's starting to get going. Petey's starting to get going. It's and those were 2 guys who, like before his first game, Besser was on a 13-game goalless streak in his first 2 games, 2 goals. So
it's definitely a breath of fresh air, like you said. I think the 2-year extension to me, and they probably even said like, listen, Bruce, you're going to be a bridge guy. Like we need you to just get these guys going again. We need you to, figure out how to get these young guys playing. And then, eventually when they get over that hump, I bet you they bring in somebody. He's going to be a fall guy. Like he probably knows that, like, I'm going to do what I can with these guys, maybe it's one of those things where don't expect much, but if you get more than that,
you look at Bruce Boudreau's coaching history, and anytime you had a full season with a squad or with a team, whether it was Anaheim or Chicago or
Washington, yeah.
Well, I'll use Minnesota, or not Minnesota. I'll use Washington and Anaheim. Most of the years there, he was first place in division. One of the last year, his second year before he got fired by Washington, got hired on by Anaheim. Like that was the quickest turnaround too for a coach, like 2 days.
Yeah,
didn't make playoffs. Minnesota's doing Minnesota things. So, but it's nice to have a coach that has a winning, like we're brought in a guy that has a winning track record, who knows what a playoff success is like, or winning and making a playoff run. It is that nice breath of fresh air, and there seems to be some hope.
I smell food.
Yeah.
Ooh, Haagen-Dazs.
I can't wait for so many more sound bites.
Listen, have a seat for a second. Listen, I have never seen a bunch of guys get so fucking down when something bad happens. Like, what are you, prima donna perfect that you can't handle adversity? So shit's not going right. It's not fucking working the past 10 days. Fucking get your heads out of your ass and make it work by outworking the opposition. But you kill 2 men and you stand around while you fucking score here. You come to the bench like fucking this, and when the power play's not working, so you're trying to stick handle, you're looking and not standing. Outwork the fucking guys. If you want it, don't just think you want it. Go out and fucking want it. But you're not looking like you want it. You look like you're feeling sorry for yourselves. And nobody wants anybody that's feeling sorry for themselves. What does he say? You got 20 fucking minutes. You're down by 1 fucking shot. Surely the fuck we can deal with this. Dude. One of the funniest,
that is amazing.
One of the funniest 24/7s. If people don't know what I'm referencing, HBO 24/7 Pens Caps, like what was that, 2012, 11? Like that. Boudreau just comes in and tears the shit out of the Capitals. And I loved it so much that I memorized it.
It was probably the best, like, if you want to watch anything from Bruce Boudreau, go watch that. Like it's
like for 2 minutes ago, swear warning coming up in now.
Yeah.
It says explicit on the thing, don't play it out loud.
It was so good. 2011. Yeah. It was.
What do you feel about Jim Rutherford? Because you said that and I went, oh Jesus.
So at first I thought it was a full-time GM. No, he's the interim on it. So he's taken that from Stan, but he is going to be holding on. I don't know the details on it, but as president of hockey operations there. So,
well, we're talking about old boys club. Same thing, man. They keep recycling them.
And actually today, Rutherford spoke with the media with Francesco Aquilini there, and he said the one thing that he's like, I was ready just to stay home. I was ready to stay home and just enjoy the stress-free life of things and spend it with family. But then he said this is the first time in his career that an NHL owner shows up at his house, at his doorstep, going in and like not just an email for the job or offerings, it showing up. So as the ownership group, like I think that's cool. Like you're going into and you want this guy so bad that you're going to show up. He's had success, but at the same time, he's been known as a hothead.
You know what it looks like is it looks like the owner is looking for, I want proven talent. I don't want anyone just dicking around here. Cause like Travis Green was a rookie coach, correct?
Yeah.
Benning,
first NHL.
Did he have a GM job? I don't think
I don't think he's had I don't know. He was like a scout and then he was moved up into different roles. And
so I think the owner seems like, it doesn't want to say he's scared, but he's like, I need someone that knows what they're doing. And I'm going to go and get Bruce Boudreau and I'm going to go get Jim Rutherford. I don't give a fuck. Right. We're getting them both. Do you want to go through Benning and like what you liked, what you didn't? You mentioned a few.
Yeah, we can do that. I just know one thing too, in the hiring process of both these guys, they said it wasn't just like the ownership going through and saying this, like they had a collective, which makes sense. But it was interesting that they said both the Sedins were on that. Like I know they're doing work in Abbotsford, like with the Canucks there, but hearing that they were a part of this whole process, I could see down like not well. I don't want to give it necessarily time, but I can see down the road those are the guys that they're going to pull like fall in the way of the Sakic or an Yzerman getting into that manager. But
yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
Okay, so some of his best moves, and I'll ask you if you agree. I just kind of jotted these down. Drafting wasn't bad.
No,
Quinn Hughes.
Drafting was pretty solid.
Elias Pettersson. So Hughes was 6th overall. Pettersson was 5th. Thatcher Demko in the 2nd round. Vasily Podkolzin, Nils Hoglander. Those are just 5 guys.
Even
Besser,
Mikey DiPietro in the 3rd.
Did he draft Besser? Was Besser already? I think he did draft Besser, didn't he?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay.
Because Benning was around in 2016. Besser was drafted. No, 2014 Benning came. 2015 Besser was drafted.
Okay, so he did draft Besser as well.
And that was a 23rd overall pick.
Right. Well, and I mean, the Hughes and Peterson extensions are
those
are
good.
Huge.
Those were huge
extensions, and he signed those, so you got to give him props. Don't worry, we're gonna tear him down in a second. But picking up JT Miller for a 1st and a 3rd at the time probably looked a little holy crap. What are we doing here? But when we did our original 6 draft, I picked JT Miller pretty high because of his statistics and just what he actually brings to the table. That 1st round pick ended up being 20th overall. That's not bad for a return on your top goal scorer currently. And even wasn't he last year too?
I believe he was.
He was up there, right?
He was one guy that was, we said at the time, it's like, who knows? But he's been a guy that's fits perfectly in Vancouver.
I like that. Smaller one, but getting Tanner Pearson for Erica Branson straight up. Good trade.
One that I'm going to say that was a good one at the beginning of his tenure in Vancouver was the Ryan Kessler trade.
What was the deal?
So it was Nick Bonino, Lucas Spiza, 1st and a 3rd for Ryan Kessler.
It's not bad. Just to dump him to Anaheim?
Yeah. Kessler, they said they were going to go at the newer direction at the time, and Kessler wanted out, and there you go.
Yeah, that's a good one. The last one that I have on here, and again, you said you didn't like it slightly, but signing Ryan Miller when Luongo and Schneider both left.
Both those guys are gone. Eddie Lack still was in there at the time, and I didn't necessarily mind that Ryan Miller was coming in. I didn't like the turn. I didn't like the 3-year deal. Like I told you, I'd rather seen it on a 1-and-1 or
and then figure it out after
and go from there.
Yeah.
And another Benning signing that necessarily I don't think was his fault. Just like happened last season or the Braden Holtby signing, because we didn't losing like we were going to be, who knows with Markstrom or what was going to happen. Holtby was supposed to be the number 1 guy, and it's not Benning's fault that fully his fault that he wasn't the number 1 guy. But
you brought up Holtby just for like real quick. Do you see what the Stars did today? They waived Khudobin.
Khudobin, yeah.
So yes, because Holtby and Ottinger have been pretty good.
Yeah, well, yeah, and they said, what's his face? Ben Bishop's done forever.
Isn't that crazy? They had Bishop and they had Khudobin. Was there 1-2, and they're both gone, and now they have 2 brand new guys, and they're at least better.
Yeah.
Sometimes those changes, they can benefit you. Like it can go either way, obviously, but sometimes when it works out, it looks pretty cool.
Like, I like that the deal they had with Holtby too, the 2-year deal. I liked it. It was a nice contract, and I was excited about it, but didn't work out. So well.
So you've mentioned some of now these are the worst ones, and if you want to pile on because it makes you feel better, you go for it. You've already said the refusal to rebuild. You mentioned that earlier. I agree. Patch jobs, and I think it's something that a lot of GMs in the league, you get to a point where you get a little desperate. And you're not really thinking about 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line. You're thinking about now. I need to keep my job now.
You're thinking about your career 2-3 years. You're not thinking about the team.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that these moves are going to benefit the team in the long run. Again, a patch job is you're patching a hole. You're trying to get something. We need to do something, right? And, for Benning, getting rid of Green wasn't going to cut it because, hey, man, that was your guy. You hired him.
He hired him on. That was his guy. And
he's the one that's supposed to bring these guys to the next level. These are the players that you got. You're responsible for all of this. And just seeing some of these moves we're going to talk about is a big part of why he's no longer the GM in Vancouver. You mentioned Louis Eriksson, 6 years, $6 million.
Like
that might be the worst move that guy's ever made, is signing him.
Like my blood's boiling just thinking of it. Like I'm so glad.
Now here's the thing: you got rid of him, but I think you got another Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He's been terrible.
Yes, at the time I thought it was a great trade.
Me too.
That because you got rid of him and you got rid of Antoine Roussel.
The best part of that deal was Connor
Garland.
Has been great for Vancouver.
He's been perfect. He's been a great fit.
How about the offseason where they lost Tanev, Markstrom, and Toffoli? All three of them, see you later, where they probably could have got a few of them back.
Tanev, I wasn't necessarily like Tanev leaving.
How about this? The way it went down, where it was reported that, hey, we got, we're talking with Tanev right now. And then like an hour later, it was like he signed with Calgary. So you weren't talking with him. And then Tanev saying,
Markstrom signed
and then Markstrom too. And like, what are you going to do? Wasn't Markstrom a Vezina finalist?
Pretty sure he was,
like 2 years ago or whatever. Anyway,
but the Toffoli, one that hurt was Toffoli, because there was apparently they were close, and then Benning just stopped listening.
Right, and so those are guys,
and he's the Canuck killer. He's been the Canuck killer the last couple of years.
And in doing that too, it's like you get cap space, and now you're thinking, oh shit, who's he going to sign now?
Yeah.
Now here's a trade. Okay. And then the rest there's just draft and signing. So the trade was is Jared McCann a second and a fourth for a Goodbranson and a fifth. Oh my God. I mean, if you like hearing that must make your stomach turn. Now they turned Goodbranson into Tanner Pearson. Okay. It makes it a little better.
They did. But at the time,
you went like this, and then you came back up a bit, right?
Like Goodbranson, if this is 20 years ago, Goodbranson would have been
20 years ago. Wait, was he in the league?
No.
Oh, shit, okay.
I mean, if Eric Goodbranson played 20 plus years ago.
I was like, he was like 16. I know what you're saying.
No, like Goodbranson's just in the wrong era for hockey.
He is. He really is.
He should he'd have been a perfect Scott Stevens style hockey player, but
I'm just torturing Bobo with all of these. Jake Virtanen drafted before William Nylander and Nikolai Ehlers. He's gonna leave. He's gone. No,
I broke my headphone.
Broke his headphone. The green screen's falling apart.
Yeah, just the stuffing.
Hey, wait! You're literally gonna leave after this one. Oli Uolevi over Matthew Tkachuk, Mikhail Sergachev, Charlie McAvoy, and Jacob Chikrin, and probably other guys too.
Yeah, look what just happened. Like fucking.
And Uolevi, he's gone.
Yeah,
Florida,
straight into Florida
for like nobody. So those are two busts of draft picks where it's just like, well, that sucks. And then here's some signings that, I mean, you look at these, you look at the term, the number. These are the numbers that scare me when I look at a roster. Tyler Myers, 5 years, $6 million per year. I mean, and at the time, wasn't he like 29? Like, I mean, what's going to happen? Michael Furland coming off a career year in Carolina was it Calgary or Carolina? One of the two. 4 years, $3.5 million per year. That's the term on these just scares the shit out of me. And then
Sven Baertschi at 3 years, 3.3 mil.
I didn't even know that one. That's terrible. How about Sam Gagner, Beagle making $3 million?
Sam Gagner, 3 years, 3.1 mil.
There's a lot of bad signings where there's term and money where you're going, these guys are bottom, like Roussel, Beagle, Furland. What does that scream to you? Bottom six.
Draft picks.
I mean, you should be able to draft guys that play in those roles. It's not that hard, or pick guys up that have worth. So that's the moves that kind of got Benning canned in the long run. Is he handcuffed himself? And like I've said before, Brian Burke said, he's an ex-GM of the Canucks too. Yeah. You're making these moves for now. You're signing the guy to a 5-year deal. Maybe you won't make it to that. You need him now. So he wants 7. I'm only going to probably be here for another 2 years if this doesn't work out. Fuck it. I'm going to sign him to 7 years. And then it's the guy after that's got to clean the mess up. So organizationally, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So in that regard, I always wonder, like, okay, for example, just going off of like a local thing with the Lions, right? The Lions are terrible. They're 1-11-1. They're clearly, they got to rebuild this.
Yeah.
They have their owner who knows nothing about football, clearly. And then they have Chris Spielman, ex-Lion, who's a smart football mind in an advisory capacity. They have Jim Dorsey, who has drafted like Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield above others. Overlooking the GM. I forget his name. No, screw that guy. No, the GM. He was a scout with who's he a scout with? And they picked him up. Was it the Rams?
Brad Holmes.
Brad Holmes. Okay. So Brad Holmes is a new GM. If I'm wondering if NHL teams have that, like, and I know they do, like we just talked about Jeff Gorton being an advisor over top of this other GM. How much power do they actually have, or can go to the owner and go, listen, Jim Benning wants to sign, he wants to sign Tyler Myers for 5 years at $6 million a year. I don't see that being a good thing for us in the future, like at all. Like it might help now,
which
but
it hasn't,
if this doesn't work out, right? Like to be a bug in the owner's ear and go, if this doesn't work out, we're screwed. Like we have to sign Hughes and Pedersen, and we got Besser and we got Horvat. Like, and then Demko is going to want money. We can't sign this guy. If he doesn't work out, we're screwed.
Yeah. We're
can you veto ourselves. That? You know what I mean? To go to the GM and go, wait, you want to sign what? And go, no, we're not. That's ridiculous. Like, because that would save a lot of these, contracts, right? Where it's just the GM having the ability to just go, yeah, just sign the check. It's like, if I'm the owner, I kind of want to know what's going on. Why are you signing this guy? What do you see in him? Right.
Yeah.
And have an advisor that's going to be an in-between to go, hey, it's like when you see on Twitter, it's like something happens in hockey and then you see someone go, explain this to me in football terms, right? Because they don't know about hockey. That's the advisory capacity that I would look at and go, dude, if you were the advisor to Jim Benning, you probably been like, whoa, what? What are you doing?
Why the fuck were we signing Tyler Myers on a
right.
5-year deal?
Yeah.
Why the hell did you?
Can you not get him for 3? Like, why 5?
Why 6 years on Louis Eriksson at 6 years and $6 million?
Exactly. And that's where I'm trying to draw some comparisons between your Canucks and my Red Wings.
Yeah.
And I read an article about, I think it was on The Athletic, about some of the similarities in where the Canucks were and where the Red Wings are now, and how things could technically go the other way. Cause that's what happened with Vancouver. The similarities are, you have Quinn Hughes, sensation, right? I want to say out of nowhere, but guess what? 6th overall pick. You know who was a 6th overall pick for Detroit? Moritz Seider. Looks amazing. Leading rookie defenseman in points, leading the team in ice time, looking like a professional, like looking like he could be in the All-Star game. Elias Pettersson, 5th overall. Lucas Raymond, 4th overall. 2 rookie phenoms that came in and was like, holy shit, these guys are our best players.
Yeah.
Thatcher Demko, a goalie that took a second to get going. Alex Nedeljkovic, first, they're both starters. They're both young, right? And then you have, guys come at Podkolzin, and I guess I could kind of say Philip Zadina. There's all these
Horvat, Larkin,
Larkin, Bertuzzi, kind of. There's all these guys, Besser, Bertuzzi. You have the same type of thing going on, right? Where, in my opinion, the Vancouver defense, pretty similar to Detroit's. They got like 2 guys, and that's it.
Yeah.
So my thing is, I look at the Red Wings and I go, just look at the Canucks. What happens when you dump money into players that maybe they tried to speed this up too quickly, where maybe you were best served, if you're Vancouver, if Jim Benning would have said, listen, we're not going to be overly aggressive. I like our young players. We got a few other guys coming. I don't want to spend a lot of money. Our cap situation's fucked. I don't want to spend because I want to have some, room to breathe, room to move. I want to see how these guys do. They're coming up. That might have worked out better for Vancouver. Right?
Yeah. Because these younger guys would have developed once they're starting to enter their prime, then you have that cap money where you can bring in a vet that has that experience.
In these deals like Myers, Furland, Roussel, Beagle, Barchi, Gagne, these were all signed years ago. So it's kind of Benning put himself in that situation. So as an owner, I'd go, dude, that's self-inflicted. You're the one that is asking me to get out of this. You're the one that has to do it. You put yourself in this situation. For the Red Wings, how do you avoid a similar situation? Winging it in Motown, I read a lot of their stuff. They were talking about the 3 different ways that they can go about going forward into the off season. And, one was be really aggressive. 2 was kind of be in the middle. 3 was very conservative. Knowing Yzerman, it can be aggressive. It can be conservative. He kind of does everything, right? Where there's a low risk, high reward, trading like Delarose for Fabry, that works out. There's not a lot of swings, right? He hasn't done that yet. When do you start where you feel comfortable taking a swing at, let's say, in free agency, for example, like Thomas Hertl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say San Jose, for some reason, he's their best player, that for some reason doesn't sign him and he's a free agent. What is stopping Detroit from going out and throwing a bag of money at the guy? Nothing. They have so much cap space. It's insane.
He's a guy that would be coming in there. Like Hertl's 28. He would.
What does he play? What position is he?
He's a center.
What does Detroit need?
They need a top
6 center, right? Because Larkin is proving right now that he is a top line guy. And that's something that I have in a YouTube video before. Is this going the way? In my video, it was, should they trade Larkin? Absolutely not. Right? I said, if this season doesn't go the way you want and he doesn't look the way you want, then maybe you think about it. You're not trading him. He's your guy, and he's on the top line. He's doing well, and you need another guy. There isn't that second line guy. Is it Joe Veleno? I don't know. It's not Pius Suter. I mean, he's been doing okay, but he's probably your third line center. If you sign a guy like a Hertl, right? I know that's a pipe dream. It's just an example. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I think I would like it, but what is keeping that from being a Tyler Myers type deal? Right? It's looking at these players analytically and going, this guy fits my, needs. Thomas Hertl is what, 28 years old?
28. Yeah. Just turned 28 in November.
Okay. I'm not signing Thomas Hertl to a 7-year deal.
Look at a 4-year deal.
But that's what he'll get in free agency because somebody will do it. Like I said, it only takes one to give you what you want. You don't need all 32 teams to give it, or 31 teams to give it to you. Wait, 32 now. And so that's something where I go, but at the same time, it can go the other way, where Hertl's the guy that gets you over the hump, right? Where you get him and you're like, wow, we just got the guy that's going to help us get to that next level. Where I really think he would, Tyler Myers, Furland, Roussel, Beagle. Do any of those guys really stand out that much to you where you're like, hey, we should throw money at them? Not really. They're replacement type players. Myers maybe a little bit more so. His deal, though, is way worse than the other guys.
What?
Would you rather have, Antoine Roussel at $3 million, or would you rather have Adam Ernie at 0.95?
Take Ernie at 0.95.
Every day. He's going to do the same thing for less. And
unless
has
you're
a little
Jim
more
Benning.
potential, maybe, except if you're Jim Benning.
Or
right?
Kenny Holland.
Or Kenny Holland.
Yeah, they got to throw the one Kenny Holland rip in there.
Sure. So that's where I'm looking at this going, hey, Detroit's at a crossroads, and they're going to be, they've been up and down this year. They've got shell shocked the last 2 games, just absolutely blown out. St. Louis and Colorado didn't look good. But there's been bright spots where kids are all right. There's some growing pains there. I mean, they need a backup goalie because I think Grice is pretty garbage this year. Nedeljkovic is your guy.
Yeah, there's Matt Murray.
Oh God, there's no chance.
Just because you offered him the Vancouver the other pod.
That's kind of when I was thinking we're going to talk about Vancouver, and I saw that article. I went, I have to talk about this because it's interesting to look at it in terms of you're a Canucks fan, I'm a Wings fan,
and there are the similarities, like you said, between them, and
because Vancouver is already moving, they're in that wrong direction. They've fired their coach and GM, and now who knows what's going to happen? Really, what are they? What would Jim Rutherford do? Well, I mean, he's made some crazy trades in the past too.
Is he going to hire?
If you want to look up what Rutherford has done with the Penguins, and
that's something we can do down the road. And
you really could.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do GM wise before the draft.
It really will be, and I wonder how much say Rutherford will have, because he's not just coming in if the owner is going to his house and doing just an advisory capacity. I feel like he might just be the guy, and they're just saying, interim. And it's just the title. He's probably the guy.
Then after the season, they just remove the interim tag,
or they have somebody learning under him. Hey, you're going to be.
Sedins are going to learn under him, and
we're gonna, whoever it is, right? So I thought it was interesting to bring up because I obviously don't want to go the way of Vancouver.
I don't blame you.
And jump the gun and do something crazy if it doesn't make sense. So, and I have I think Jim Benning is not as good as an executive as Steve Yzerman is. I think that we've proven that.
I don't think Jim Benning is going to get another GM job in the NHL.
Peter Chiarelli got a few, so you never know, man. The old boys club. We bring it full circle to the old boys club. Marc Bergevin and Mike Yeo is the coach in Philly, and here comes Boudreau.
Benning will get a job when Arizona relocates to Houston.
Exactly. He'll be the Houston GM. So 21 episodes. That was a lot. That was a lot of analytical stuff. I know we both like doing that.
Actually, you know what? You want to end it on something funny?
Let's
go on sportslogos.net. You know how the jersey, like New Jersey has their new jersey? See the back of Mackenzie Blackwood's mask?
It says mask.
Yeah.
I saw someone made it was a cookie of the jersey, and it said cookie on it. Or they need, honestly, here's what New Jersey needs to do. If they want to make this fly, okay? Because the jersey sucks. We talked about that last episode. If they wanted to do this properly, they're putting out a whole line.
Why wouldn't
hats that say hat, jersey that says jersey, t-shirt that says t-shirt, pants that say pants?
Why wouldn't you?
It would be hilarious. If you're a Devils fan, tell me you wouldn't buy some of that stuff.
Just sent it to you on the screen there, or in the chat through here, just so you could take a quick look.
No, I've seen it. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. It's pretty funny. I think that if I'm New Jersey, that would be a funny thing you could do, because I think they took themselves a little bit serious. Like, Martin Brodeur made this. It's like, but it sucks.
Everyone's making fun of it. You got to roll with
Marty
it.
Brodeur took a shit in the urinal. You want to go see? It's like, no, that's horrific.
On the toilet.
On the toilet.
So you see what they did to the Uranus.
Yeah. So we are going to move on from that.
Yeah.
And what I will say is World Juniors are coming up. Actually, that's going to be a lot of fun, because just like Christmas break and all that stuff, it'll be fun to follow all of that. And I'm sure me and you can put our heads together and figure out something we can do.
We're smart.
Team Canada? No, we're not. You guys have a lot more credit than you'd think, but we'll figure something out for that.
Oh yeah, we'll do something.
Forward, February Olympics. Now, the only thing is like I'm having a kid in January, so hopefully we can still find the time to do this, right? I'm sure we will. It'll just be a second.
Bring little Buschy on the pod.
Bobo might have to do a solo at one point. He'll be fine. I have all the faith. Right? But
meanwhile, you're messaging me, don't fuck it up.
Hey, don't screw this up for us. We're going to the top. Hey, you know what? Here's what's going to happen. You're going to do a solo show at one point. It's going to get 7 billion views, and I'm fired.
Yep.
This is how it is, man. It's just show business.
The Bobo Show.
The Bobo Show. A Bobo podcast on Bobo.com.
Das Bobo.
On fuckbuschy.org.
Yeah. Beauty.
All right, everybody. Until next time, follow us on Twitter and Facebook, www.healthyscratch.ca, and follow us on YouTube if you can. Until next time, it's Buschy and Bobo. Take care.
Ja!